What's going on, people? So, giving this thing a second to get all ready and situated, because I don't know how many of you guys deal with these YouTube things, but this StreamYard thing, making sure it all pops up and whatnot over actually on YouTube, it doesn't always work out, I think, in that first few moments or whatever. But it looks like things are good. All right, cool, fantastic. So, here's the thing, right? Several months ago, okay, it was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, not all that long ago, I guess. I was doing all those little like top 10 videos and things like that, right? And I put up a little story thing over on the Instagram and I'm like, hey, of these types of videos, like which ones do you guys like to see? Like what do you want? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not watching this stuff. So hearing from the viewers, right? Or the potential viewers anyways, that's kind of what makes sense sometimes, right? Because you want to play to your crowd, right? And so Kyle Martin, who's often down in the comments, he threw out a response saying he was something about underrated or overlooked shoes, something to that effect, right? So I was like, all right, cool, no problem. And then months later, here we are, right? So that's pretty much what's going on here. Now, it doesn't really say in the title or whatever because I kind of forgot, but this is a 2021 pickup based list. So it's going to be stuff based off of things I got in 2021, right? So nothing before, nothing after. Well, that last one, that's kind of a gray area, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I know this is starting a little bit early, but when I do my lives, I like to kind of set like the time that I want to start by, like if I'm doing a solo one. So I set it for 7. But since I was ready to go and I'm the only person that's going to be on here, let's just go ahead and get this party started. And then there's BX. He's probably still out in the forest, but apparently he's in one of those modern day forests that have Wi-Fi and stuff. So that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, so if I had when I do like the lives and stuff that involve other people, then I like promote them and I start them on time and all that crap. But times like this doesn't really matter. So, like I said, 2021 overrated or underrated, underrated shoes, overlooked shoes, very different words. Yeah. So let's start with this box right here because this is the first box up. So this one, actually, this one should have been with another one that's over here somewhere. This one, because these two kind of go together. When I was setting these piles up so I could take pictures and whatnot, I kind of needed everything to be like somewhat organized looking. So let's go ahead and pull this one out too. Now this right here, this is the ZX 8000 Aqua, right? Now I know it wasn't everybody's big deal or whatever, and I totally get that. But to me, like this was one of the best things that came out, right? Which is why it's here being talked about for the most part. It's got some pretty decent materials on here for something that's only like $120, I think. So that's cool. And like the Aqua thing, huge fan of that. So then later they came out in these Ultra Boosts, and I picked these up too. Both of these, in my opinion, were pretty underrated because they just kind of sat around. Now, let me go back here for a second, right? When I say underrated, I'm only talking about like how I feel, which is you can kind of negate this whole video because I don't really pay a lot of attention to like the big trends and stuff. But the ones that I see people talking about, the ones that I see is like still in stock like months later, the amount of comments and views I get on certain things, all that kind of stuff plays a role in it. So, it's not like super scientifically based or whatever, but, just mostly just my opinion with a little bit of something to go off of that mostly doesn't mean much to anybody else, but makes for good conversation. So, anyways, these right here, like I was saying, the Aquas, the Ultra Boost, and the ZX 8000. The whole ZX line is actually pretty underrated in my opinion, but those in particular because it was one of those rare times where something came out and like was on sale the next week. Unfortunately, I had bought my pair like day one, so that kind of sucked. But it is what it is. Things happen. And like I said last night, when it's something you want, it's something you want. So what's it really matter, right? Moving right along, moving right along. This right here looks fairly familiar. I'm sure it's a Hirachi box, right? It's got that limited thing. They were doing a lot of that last year. Do you wear all your sneakers to that building where you pick heavy things up? And that answer is sprinkled all throughout Legram. But yeah. There you go. This right here. This one is, I haven't worn these yet, have I? Maybe I'll bring these out this month. I'm doing all new shoes for April, or at least like, what's the word? Like undesing shoes for April. That's the one I'm looking for. This right here, the Aqua Tone, right? There was another one a few years ago, but this is a more modern type one, right? And I really like this color combination. The Hirachis themselves have no problem selling, right? But this particular colorway did not seem to be a fan favorite, though I think it's pretty nice. It's also one that matches up with the first school I went to for high school. Like, it matches up with those colors, so that's a nice little whatever. And it kind of matches up with like the first fives that I bought if this purple were a little darker. But anyways, so yeah, these right here, the Aqua Tone Hirachis, they make the list because, like I said, nobody was paying any attention to them. And like I kind of wish I had known that beforehand or whatever, because things were selling out sporadically. Because like I bought these from End, right? Which means that I spent a little more than I could have spent if I just like bought them from like Nike or Foot Locker or something. But whatever, things happen. Let's see, that Hirachi still has the sticker on the outside. A lot of my shoes have stickers on them. I sometimes notice that when I'm wearing them, like those slides right there. Maybe these slides right here. Because I never really think about it. I just kind of wear them. And since I don't wear anything like a whole lot, because I try to keep that rotation moving, it just kind of happens that way. Stuff just gets missed. So this right here, right now, the 350 in its own is nowhere near underrated, right? People, in some ways, I would say the 350 is overrated, right? But the thing is, these things do get a fair amount of attention overall, but the different colors, that's where it gets a little bit different, right? And this one right here, especially of the Ash series, it seemed like this one was the one that nobody really cared about. And just in general, people didn't seem to be paying a lot of attention to these. But this is the only one that came out last year that I bought two of for myself because I liked it that much. This is the Ash Blue. I don't know if I said that. But yeah, looking at the releases from last year for 350s, to me, this is probably the best one, right? The MX Oat was pretty high up. That one's a pretty cool looking one. But the fit is a little weird because it's got all those extra layers, so it comes off like more, I don't know, more snug than you want it to be. And you just got to break them in, though. Prime Knit will work with you, but right out of the box is what I'm talking about. Let's see. The Hirachis are hard. Definitely. Okay. Every time I see like the little emojis in text, like it always throws me off. I'm always like, what? Like, because I don't use them because I'm like old and stuff, and those were like meant for the kids or something, and I'm not one of them. But yeah, these right here, the Ash Blues, this was one of my favorite ones, and it reminds me of the Desert Sage and of the Linen, and it's actually a lot like the Linen, just like inverted colors. If you saw the review I did of these, I think I put up a picture showing them side by side, because those are more like this color with this being the stripe. So, either way, these right here, I bought two pair because I like them that much. And sooner or later, I got to get that other pair down to my mom's house because that's where I keep my second pairs of shoes, because I don't need two here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is completely unnecessary. Let's see. Since you're my friend, I'm going to send you a neat shirt without sleeves to wear in your video. Are you a medium? I am a small, actually. The camera adds 10 pounds, so there you go. But I do appreciate that. BX is the one that sent me this knife, which I'll be using in a second when I open that box at the very end. I'm going to do a live unboxing as well, right? Probably should have added that into the title because then it would make people want to come in here. But again, when I do these lives, I kind of don't care about drawing in huge crowds, because for one, it becomes hard to keep up with what people are saying. And two, I'm just not a big attention guy, This right here. This is the Vans Old School in pig suede, right? So it's got some nice suede going on here, right? If you saw these in stores, you might know what I'm talking about. But the thing that's really cool about these is like the water resistant aspect of it. That was crazy. Like, I think it's towards the end of the video maybe, and if I can find it or remember how to do it, I might show it later. But these right here, like I held them under the faucet in the sink, or in the bathroom, and the water just like runs right off. It's crazy. And then like you look inside and it's like still bone dry. So these right here, it's actually a pretty good rain shoe, minus the fact that still a lot of your foot is exposed, and it's green, right? But overall, this is one that I don't think anybody really even knew about, so it makes the list for that reason. But yeah, I do like to have some stuff that has an actual functionality to it, Because you can have some stuff that's just cool looking or whatever, sure, but you gotta have a little bit more once in a while, right? And now these. Actually, hold on, real quick. Let me switch something over here because when I'm looking at this chat thing, I said this yesterday, but if you're ever watching a live, which I have my YouTube one up on the side just so I don't miss anything, if you change it from all chat or top chat to live chat, that will help make sure you see all the messages that are being said. Otherwise, you might miss some stuff. This is the Midwest Kids. What did I pay for these things? 89 pounds. So that would probably, I don't know, it's like 150-ish, maybe close-ish to that, right? But I could have just bought these stateside from Adidas because, you know, they were not moving quickly at all. Like not in the slightest. You can probably still find these in stores. And I really hate this thing that they did, this whole double bagging the shoes or whatever. From a protection aspect, not too bad. Oh yeah, extra laces and stuff. That's always nice. And the other one, which I'm not taking out, has other straps. Well, has all this. Oh no, there's some of them in here. Never mind. So it came with like these straps and stuff, you know, that you can put on the shoe. So that's kind of cool if you want to do that. But one of my things was like when I got the Home Alone pair, I didn't want all this extra stuff on my shoes. I just kind of like to keep them bare minimum. And so being able to take these off is nice. But past all that stuff, the Midwest Kids Form 84 low, right? Nice gum bottom and all that good stuff. Got this little short hairs suede type of thing going on. All kinds of good things happening here, at least in my opinion, right? And for a pretty decent price if you caught them, like, you know, from Adidas. They just didn't seem to get anybody's attention. People would jump in the comments, and every comment I saw was like, I'm thinking about getting those. Like, nobody was actually doing it, you know? But I did, obviously. And just me, I guess. But yeah, definitely something worth checking out if you're into Form 84 lows, right? I'm gonna set these here because this box is, I'm not gonna put that back to how it was just yet. These, hold on, what is this? All right, it's almost 2 a.m. here, going to bed. All right, hey man, I totally get that. Like if it was 2 a.m., I'd probably want to go to sleep too. But appreciate you stopping in for a minute or for the whole thing. Either way, I'm cool with it. So thank you. Seriously, I do appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Never seen those forums are fresh. Never seen those. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't follow a lot of shoe releases because I just don't, right? The more you follow, the more you're gonna want to buy, and I'm not trying to buy a bunch of stuff. But that one, somehow I saw it and I was like, you know, this seems kind of cool. And given like the Midwest Kids thing and me being from the Midwest, like that Iowa pillow says that you can't quite see, yeah, it seemed like something worth getting. This also seemed like something worth getting. Slight segue there. This is the Adidas Retro P E5, right? Somebody mentioned these last night when we were talking about these versus Hirachis, maybe? I don't know. We're talking about these compared to something. Maybe it's like the Air Max Dawn. I don't know. But either way, this is the Retro P E5, right? It's kind of one of those shoes like the Dawns and the pre-days and stuff where it's got this older style thing that they're doing, but it's got some modern style stuff down here, right? Kind of blending it all together. Got a nice little gum bottom down there. I'm a fan of that. I mentioned these last night because this color, this Arctic orange looking thing, I forget what they called it though. Acid orange, according to Adidas. So that right there, it isn't the shade that I expected it to be from the pictures, but I actually like it more than I liked the pictures, right? And I was pretty into those pictures, which is why I bought these. But yeah, these right here, like they're super comfortable. Like they're not selling at all. We've got a handful of colors, and personally, I kind of feel like these should be like the NMD was in like say 2017 or 18, you know, not the first year, but they were just flying off the shelves, but to the point where people are buying them up, you know, or like the Air Max 270 in its earlier times, right? I feel like this is something that a lot of people would be into, but maybe they just pushed them out at the wrong time. If they had brought them out in like spring/summer, maybe they would have caught on more. But yeah, this is, if you want some all-day comfort and some breathability and something that's cheap, because these are like 120, this is definitely something to consider. Though, there you go. I kind of hear that sound in there. The way this tongue rubs against whatever material is down in here, not great. I'm guessing that might go away over time if you actually wear these regularly. But, you know, since I've worn these once, you know, that's not really something I would consider broken in, right? But, you know, whatever. Eventually, I'll probably put those on again, maybe next month or something. So, Asics, right? The Gel Light 3. Now, the Gel Light 3 in its own right does get a fair amount of attention, which is good because it deserves it, but not every pair does, because that's the same thing I said about a lot of these things, right? But this one right here, it's the Sneaker Law collaboration, right? So they did these to be modeled after some towers in Malaysia. So if you look on the inside down in there, you've got some text and stuff that kind of talks about the Petronas Towers back in Malaysia. But basically, everything that they did for the shoe, for the visual, goes with something about those buildings, right? So even down like the green, and well, that's actually got some nice 3M in there. You know, you've got like the shiny silver and all that stuff. You got the translucent stuff on the bottom, kind of to show you like what the windows are like. You know, all this stuff basically goes along very well with the tower itself. And the thing that kind of got me into these was that's just like the best to me, like of the shoes I have, the best collaboration approach that I've seen in a while, where it's like they actually took what they're trying to base the thing off of and really just like nailed it, you know? Because I've seen some other ones that are cool collaborations. You'll see another one here in a few boxes, right? But this one actually like made me think that wow, that's pretty awesome. The price was a little bit more than your standard Gel Light 3. I think these were like 140 to was it 140? That sounds about right. Normal Gel Light 3 is like 130. Well, no, it's not. 110 for the basic styles, 130 for like the premiums, like the what was that? The Doramu dolls, I think, were 130, but like my sunflowers were 110, right? So it kind of just ranges in between there. A lot like the Air Max 1. Let's see what's in this box. This is a 2021 box, I think. Yeah. So the Air Max 2021, right? I don't know that anybody cared that this actually came out. They're super comfortable. Like they may look a little weird, and I get that, you know. And they've got that whole mouth guard style bubble thing that looks crazy. It actually looks almost like a teething ring for kids. But either way, there's some good stuff going on here as far as like actual wear of these. The look is probably what drew some people in other directions because it's not the best looking thing, right? At least not in my opinion. Some colors do make these look a little better. There's like a orangish, blackish sort of one that's pretty decent. But once I put these on and walked around in them, I was like, man, these are really nice. And they did actually, maybe they look better when you're wearing them because I got a lot of people, and again, this was probably my most complimented shoe from last year as far as when I'm out wearing things, walking around doing my daily whatever I'm doing that day. Yeah, people were constantly like complimenting these. But I don't know that I've ever seen anybody actually wear a pair, and that's kind of where they fit into this list, right? And I don't like that either. Like they've been going really heavy on this with like the was it the pre-days? I think the pre-days had this little thing, maybe the dawns too. I want to say it started with the Element 87s, and then they just kept it going. Was it or maybe the React Vision? Could be both actually, but if it's both, then it would be the 87 because the 87 came first. Moving along, got us an Adidas box here, which is there's a lot of Adidas in this overall list. So this is the Adidas 4D FWD, which probably stands for forward, right? But either way, so it's like a 4D midsole thing, but unlike the other 4D shoes, which actually, luckily I have another 4D right after this, so I'll keep these out. But unlike the other 4Ds, these have this like this softer plastic in here, whereas the other ones are super stiff and take significantly longer to break in. So these you can actually run in, whereas those other ones feel like bricks, honestly. At least at first, you know, and then for a while even after that. But this right here, like the way they did this knitting of the upper and stuff, and like combined with what they had going on down here with the midsole, this was definitely one of the best things that Adidas put out like in a while. But the color selection was mostly terrible, and that's probably why they didn't really catch on, because these right here, And like there's this pair that I really liked, and then there was like a black pair that was basically like this same thing but inverted because I think it had like green stripes, and that was pretty much it, right? So if you already have enough black shoes, which a lot of people do, and you didn't want this crazy green, you were kind of just stuck going without for the most part because the price was like 180, 190, so they're not cheap either. But either way, if you can get past all that stuff, as far as the wear goes, you're gonna be in for a treat. You know what I'm saying? But maybe they'll make some. I think they did make some other colors, but it's still. I saw a kid wearing these the other day, like when I was going to pick up that one of these wrestling titles, and I almost wanted to say something to him, like but it's like I'm not gonna stop this car to like yell at this kid about his shoes or whatever. Not yell at him about the shoes, but like yell at him to ask him, like, hey, do you like those or whatever I would have said in the moment. Oh wait, no, I got to keep these out. Let's see. Straight up, I've only seen one kid with 21s on. But yeah, I still haven't. That was one of those ones that like went on sale pretty quick too, because that was like the middle of the year. The other weird thing about the 2021 was that you would think that that would have been like an Air Max Day sort of thing where they like draw attention to it because they often bring out like new flagship models around Air Max Day, right? And I don't remember a lot going on with Air Max Day last year. But no, that came out in like July or something like that, This is the Packer Ultra 4D, right? So if I'd pulled out the other one, it would have a P up here. But this one has the P on the inside. So the one with so the other one, like I was saying, has the P on the top here and has the Adidas logo on the inside. That's kind of how they switched it up on these. But either way, these right here, right now, these were $250 retail, right? Luckily, I had got like a coupon from Packer right before this release, like a day or two before this release for like 10% off. So I was able to save a little bit of money. And the only reason I had the coupon was because I bought those Aqua Ultra Boosts that I showed in the earlier part of the video. So, and they're like, hey, you haven't bought anything. Here's a coupon. Come buy something. And it worked out because I was able to get these, But overall, right, like I was saying about the 4D thing, right, you can kind of tell to some extent just looking at it, like this is like that older style, very plasticky, stiff sort of thing. This one it's got a lot more bend and flex to it. Actually, where's the flashlight here? Like if you look in there, you can kind of see some of that, right? Just from the different angling and stuff of that. But getting back to what we're talking about here, these right here, they're really nice. Like the comfort on the upper is like crazy because they really stepped it up on the materials for these, which is good because again, for 250, you would hope so. And it's a pretty nice color combination, but again, it's something that people just didn't buy, and I can't fault you for it if you didn't buy them because they're crazy expensive. And I've seen some expensive things where it's like justifiable, but this one, it's like, I mean, I kind of get it, but I still can't quite get behind it. So unless you can get these like under that somehow, or I guess it depends on your standard as far as what's expensive and what isn't. But this right here, yeah, it's nice and all, but it's a tough sell, tough one to recommend for sure. Now I can put these up. What's that? There we go. What do we have next? We got one more stack, people. We got 4 shoes and then one that's in a box that will be unboxed. So just stick with me, just a little bit longer here. So this is, what is this? The Vans EXO Ultra Range or Ultra Range EXO. Call it EXO because it's got like, you can see this little plastic stuff around here. It gives it some structure on the outside, right? Kind of like an exoskeleton, right? These are is it Chris Johansson? There's a tag in here somewhere. Chris Johansson. He's an artist. They worked with him. Vans worked with him to make these or whatever. So I think this is one of those things where every pair is a little bit different because of the way they did the uppers, kind of like the Wings 5s and stuff like that. But the thing is, with these, right, one of the things I like, I'm not going to take that all the way out, but you can kind of see in there, it's got the Ultra Cush, right? So these are super comfortable, especially like not just by Vans shoes, but like compared to anything else. Like especially like if you've ever worn a pair of Vans and you are expecting that old school comfort like those, these right here, so much better, like so much better. I bought my dad a pair of these. I just gave them to him for his birthday, which was last month, but I had the shoes sitting in the corner since like September, you know? But yeah, so he seems to like his so far as well. But I do like the Ultra Range, or excuse me, the Ultra Cush in there as far as like the actual comfort. The cork insole in there, that's always a nice touch because I'm a huge fan of cork things for some reason. And the shoe just looks kind of cool, at least to me. Not everybody's into the pastel colors, totally get that. But this one overall, I don't see a lot of people. I don't think I've seen anybody wearing these, period. And I don't think I've seen anybody wearing any of this model, period. I guess my dad is the only person that I know that has one other than me. But yeah, the Ultra Range EXO, people. Let's see. What am I missing? There's some comments in here. Let me catch up on these. So Brooklyn Foams in here, and then what happened to the pro wrestling tees for March? It actually was recorded, and because I recorded that video, then I recorded a shirt unboxing thing, also from Pro Wrestling Tees. Both of those are ready to go, ready to be edited. I got all the finishing touches, I think yesterday was picture day, where I take all my pictures. And no, Sunday, excuse me. So tomorrow, I plan on recording my AEW crate video as well. And I should be able to get all three of those up tomorrow because they take like next to no real work. You know, they're not like the shoe reviews. So if you come back tomorrow, like come back in like 26 to 28 hours or something. And hopefully they're all three up by then. Let's see, never seen those Vans, pretty cool. Yeah, it was, I don't know, like Vans releases are, they'll throw some special stuff out there every so often, like those, what was the Halloween ones? I got those Friday the 13th. Is that the one? The guy with the hockey mask. Jason? Friday? Yeah, right? Yeah, because the other, okay, yeah. I always get him and Freddie like mixed up as far as like which one is which, you know, world or whatever. But yeah, these were nice. They are like $110, which is a little pricier than your standard Vans, but for what you get, definitely worth considering. Though I will say that pretty much anything with the Ultra Range, or excuse me, the Ultra Cush or the Comfy Cush insoles, definitely consider those, at least trying them out. One thing to take away from that though is that because it does actually have a nice insole in there, you don't have as much room in the shoe overall. So however you feel about standard Vans, if you buy your normal size and you think they're a little roomy, if you buy these, they won't feel as roomy. But if you buy them in your normal size and you kind of feel like there's not a lot of room, then you might want to go half size up. So just something to think about. And these right here, I bought my brother a pair of these because I just think they're like really cool. They got this glow in the dark thing going on, right? So I have two pairs of these. The other one just isn't as colorful. But I bought him a pair because, you know, after I saw him, I was like, man, like he's going to be pretty into these. So I sent them to him. He made a cool little video and was like, yeah, man, these are awesome, whatever. And I did the review of these months ago. And you should definitely like scroll through to the on foot part because I did the glow in the dark on foot, you know, in the closet or wherever I was. So that way you could actually see what they look like. It's not really glowing here because it's too bright or whatever. But if it was darker, these do have a cool effect. So definitely go look up the video for these because it's worth watching at least for that minute and 15 seconds or whatever of me standing around in the dark, right? But yeah, it's just too bright in here for these to really show up like I would like them to. But let's move along. So we have us an Air Max 97. This is the EOI, Evolution of Icons things, right? So you have this going on. One of the things that caught my attention for this is that I am a fan of corduroy. I'm also a fan of 97s, which I mentioned yesterday when I showed off three pairs. I showed off three pairs of 97s yesterday, all different materials too. But this one, a fourth one, and yet again, different materials because it's got the corduroy going on down here. So that's cool. And also up here on the tongue, right? Now this right here, right? Got this colorful bubble area going on with like the green. Got a lot of stuff going on in there. They did this on a couple Air Maxes last year. But this right here, and on the inside, it's like nobody cared about these like at all. They came out and I thought, okay, this is kind of like a special sort of release. It even says special edition, like the SE on the side of the box, right? But yeah, nobody was into these for whatever reason. So they ended up going on some pretty good discounts and probably are still on sale to this day somewhere, you know? Because I think I saw these at Finish Line here in store and possibly still on the Nike site as well. But, you know, if you're a 97 fan, which I know not everybody is, this is one to consider, you know? It's not going to be as good of a summer wear shoe because of that whole corduroy situation. But, you know, it's still pretty solid in my opinion. And besides, you know, sometimes like you buy stuff out of like the season that it's made for because it's cheaper, and then when the season that it is made for rolls around, you have it, right? At least that's how I shop. Like when I go to like Old Navy or whatever, you know. Anybody else out there shop at Old Navy? I do, like a lot. Actually, I don't. Here's a unnecessary bit of information. So years ago, my mom, she was like, "Hey, Tristan, I'm gonna get you an Old Navy card for your birthday or something like that." I'm like, "You don't give people credit cards for their birthday, like especially as an adult. Like I already have one." And she's like, "No, it's like it's linked to my account, so whatever you buy, like I'll just pay for it." And I'm like, "Oh, now that right there is a birthday present." So all the stuff that I get from Old Navy, you know, I send her like the receipt or something. You know, I'll send her a picture like, "Hey, thanks for these pants" or something, just so she knows to expect like some sort of bill at some point. Yeah, pretty cool though. I usually make it up for her and like buy her some random wrestling shirts and shoes and stuff once in a while. Or a Sonos setup because I did get them one of those a couple months ago. Anyways, this right here. So remember I was saying earlier that there's a bit of a gray area towards the end? That's where this guy comes in, right? Because this is the EQT 9118. So you may also remember that there was a 9317 the year before this. The thing about that is like this is based off of a shoe from 91 and this was made in 2018, whereas the other one was made based off of a shoe that came out in 93 and was made in 2017. Regardless, that aside, I got these from Concepts because, you know, CNC, PTS, because they always have these crazy sales on things that just aren't in stock anymore, just random stuff. And I saw these and I'd wanted a pair for a while and I pulled the trigger because they were basically half price. And I do not regret it at all. So this was definitely an underrated pickup in my eyes because when these were being made, nobody was talking about them, nobody was buying them. And then in 2021, even more so, right? But since I did buy them last year, that's why I feel like they can be on the list, even though they didn't come out last year. But yeah, like this is probably one of the most comfortable versions of a Boost shoe out there. Like this upper here, it's kind of thick, almost like the Ultra Boost Mid, which was also an underrated thing. I think they only made like 3 of those. But yeah, so you got this here, gives you some nice hugging to your foot and all that good stuff. Got some nice plushness on the back end area. And something, I don't know what it is, but just the way they did the boost on here. I mean, they did like what they did with the 2019 version or whatever, because you kind of see it's got like a different sort of style to the boost. But this is overall one of the most comfortable boost experiences you can get. That's just my opinion. You know, other people might have something different to say. I do wish they had some other colors, but since I like green and stuff, like there's no problem for me. But like I said before, that could be one of the things that held other people back from buying them, you know? Let's see. And where were we? Okay. It says, thanks for answering. Yeah, no problem. Okay, Ultra Boost for life. Dude, like, I don't know if you saw was it last year? No. So last year, for like Ultra Boost Day or Boost Day or whatever, I went through most of my Boost collection. I picked like a colorway from every model that I have, basically, which is a fair amount. But in 2020, I did my full Boost collection, which was, you know, the NMDs, the Aniki runners, all the Ultra Boost, the Yeezys, all that stuff. So yeah, if you want to see some other Ultra Boost things, definitely check out that playlist, or just click on like my playlist section and scroll through to the Ultra Boost videos or Adidas videos. Forget what it's labeled as, but you'll know it when you see it. I try to keep the channel like organized because at this point I've got like a lot of videos and I don't want it to just be a mess. I want people to be able to find what they're looking for, right? So if you're trying to see like I want to see this video without having to like actually search for it, you click on the Adidas thing and just kind of scroll through and then you'll see a picture of these eventually. 97, yeah, man, the 97 is that's an underrated thing by Nike standards, I kind of feel like, because they just don't do much with it. Let's see. Hey, Damien Bell, what's going on? Let's see the EQTs. Yeah, and like they also released within the last 5 months, I think they put out a bunch of EQT shoes, just the standard ones, like they kind of brought them back or whatever. And I thought those were gonna be like a hot seller because like sometimes the retro style thing just kind of draws in people. No, it did not actually. So that was unfortunate. Let's see, 97s had to grow on me. I didn't like them for years. Then one random day, one random dude was super fresh with them. I was sold. Yeah, so I totally get that because there are some things where, and I said this before about something else, where it just takes the right color of something to really make you care about it, right? Because I've seen some, what was it like even say those 2021 Air Maxes, right? Yeah, they don't look amazing, but I've seen some colors of them. I'm like, oh, you know what? This actually looks pretty nice. And even like the 97, I'm a big 97 fan, but I'm not going to sit here and act like every pair is amazing because some of them are not great. And that's why I don't have all that many, right? Because they're not all that great. So, like I was saying, I have a box of shoes here. This just came in a few hours ago at some point earlier in the day, right? Because, that's how it works when you say a few hours ago, right? It means it's earlier in the day. But let's go ahead and get this thing opened up so we can see what's going on with these, right? And it actually kind of fits in with the whole underrated thing, possibly. I mean, once I open it up, then I'll know if it's like rated properly. But if it's nice, then it will be underrated in my eyes, right? So I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen these already, but it's my first time, so that might be a giveaway. But if not, that is where it says Jordan 7 on the side. What is this? So Shimmer and Black Sapphire. That sounds like it would be a women's release to me. But whatever. Oh, so you know what? These aren't bad. Yeah. I mean, I can see why not a lot of people bought them. But yeah, these are okay. So as far as Jordans go, right? I'm a big sevens guy, right? It's just that kind of like the 97, I don't get a lot of them because, well, I just don't see a lot that I like. The last pair of sevens that I bought was the pure platinum or pure money. It was like that white pair that had like a little bit of silver on it. And that one, it wasn't amazing, but it was like it's a 7, and it was back in the olden times when stuff would sit and just like go on some pretty deep discounts, right? So I probably paid like $100 for them, maybe. But nowadays things don't sit so much, except for these. These are probably still in stock right now in some sizes, but that's cool because I was able to get them without having to spend too much, extra money going through like one of those overseas sites or whatever, like End or something. Actually, you know what? Speaking of spending money or something, let's do a giveaway real quick, right? For anybody who's been paying attention, because I know some of you guys have been in here for a while, right? And I get that some people might cheat, and I honestly don't care. Just need an answer. So here's the thing, and whoever gets the answer to me first, I'll give you some amount of money or something, right? Based on like your PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever your preference might be. So what I'm going to ask for is I need this answer all in one line, right? Don't nickel and dime me because it's hard to keep up with some of these things sometimes. But here's the question, okay? I want to know 3 models and the colorway that I showed for my underrated shoes of 2021. So again, say this all together, right? All one long sentence or whatever. Use commas or something. It is suggested. 3 models with the colorway that I showed in this stack over here. This one obviously doesn't count. And then whoever gets that information out into the world first, I'll take care of you. Now, back to this, right? Knocking out this here mild review of sorts. So down there across the bottom, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat. I got you guys. So down there across the bottom, you know, got some nice colors going on down there. A little bit of the gray, some of that blue, some pink. Hit some black on the back. Jumping up here, same sort of thing for the most part, just none of the pink, right? But there's a whole lot of that going on up here. And this part here, it's kind of like a suede sort of feel going on, which is cool. So I do kind of like that, you know, or maybe it's not. I don't know. It just feels pretty nice though. All of this seems to be like the same material, even though some of it is like slightly different colors. Seems like it's getting kind of dark in here. That's not helping a whole lot. But either way, so you got all that stuff going on. You got these little meshy side panels and stuff. Corduroy 97s, gray and lime, Air Max 21s. I'll take it. All right, cool. It's close enough. All right, so, Jackson, leave your write like Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal or whatever, and say what your username is so I can get that. Where was I? Right here. Yeah, so you got these little mesh things on the side, which is a little bit different to me because it's been a while since I've looked at a pair of sevens up close, but don't they normally have like more like this material or maybe like the tongue material on the side? Not sure what's going on there, but it will add a little bit of breathability, so that's a plus, I suppose. And then moving on back, you got some of that stuff happening up here too, so you basically can see into the side and see like the sock stuff, 23 on the back and whatnot, and the Jumpman on the outer side. It's not one on the inside, so I kind of forgot to mention it. And then flipping around over here, you know, tongue and stuff, typical things, nothing too crazy about it. But I do like it. It's kind of a thin sort of build and all that stuff. And then down there on the inside, it's all pink, kind of like you saw on the bottom, just on the inside, right? And because I get curious about dates, these says September 15 through November 21. So these have kind of been sitting somewhere for a while. Sometimes like shoe manufacturer dates are kind of like closer to the release. Sometimes they're not. This is one that's not. But yeah, see, Brooklyn foams. Like I totally get it, right? It's not a shoe for everybody. It's, you know, like it's not the color that a lot of people would probably want. And even if you kept the same color, but because like it's not the normal materials, that might not work for some people either. But out of curiosity though, what is the thing that, is there anything that if it was different, or do you have suggestions to make them like something you would buy? Or is it just like too far gone and it's just like this whole thing is just trash to you? I mean, do you not like the sevens at all either? Just kind of curious, you know, keeps the conversation moving. But yeah, I'm cool with these, right? Which is why I bought them. But I can, like he was just saying, I can see why it isn't something that a lot of people were jumping on or whatever. Because like I said on the side of the box, about the side of the box, and it's seeming like a grade school or girls release or something. Yeah, that's kind of how these kind of come off to some extent, you know? If I saw these in like small size, I'd be like, oh, kids are getting all the releases again, you know, and I'd rant to myself. Sometimes those rants go public. I think I did make a public rant about that. I don't know if it ever made it to YouTube, but it's definitely somewhere on the old Instagram. Let's see. Waiting on the Cardinals. This is where me not being like a big shoe guy comes into play, because like I don't know what those are. Is it a Cardinal 7 or is it like a Cardinal something else? And what is it? Yeah, which might be crazy to some people. Like, you don't know that? Like, but no, like growing up and stuff, like when, you know, a lot of the stuff that people talk about like coming back or whatever, I wasn't paying attention to any of that because, you know, I just watched Ninja Turtles and stuff and read comic books. You know, that was like my childhood. I don't know anything about shoe stuff. So what are these Cardinals you speak of? Oh yeah, and yeah, no problem. Like I said, just get me whatever I say. Like, you know, your how to pay you back, or not pay you back, but how to pay you period for this. Or if you, I don't know if we follow each other on like Instagram or something, you can message me there too. But I don't really check my Instagram messages a whole lot because like unless I follow people, right? Because the other ones go to like this little spam type folder, and I checked it like for the first time like in months, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was just like a whole bunch of people like, hey, we want to work with you to review our fake shoes, and hey, like I want to buy these from you. It's like hey, what's like, please hire me to do this for you. It's like everybody's just like trying to like do some crap that I'm not trying to be a part of, which is where it comes in the spam thing. So I tend to just not go into there. So if I follow you, then it'll pop up in the normal message section. But if I don't, may never see it, honestly. But anyway, so yeah, let me know what your name is, all that stuff. So that way I can make sure you get what's coming to you and all that. Because, I appreciate you paying attention. So now we've gone through all this stuff. There something I was going to try to find. I was going to try to find that picture of those Ultra Boosts that I was talking about. But in the meantime, though, okay, yes, Cardinal Sevens. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing that I have never heard of. But I'm going to go ahead and look them up real quick. Cardinal Sevens. And okay, I see that. Yeah, that's too much white for me. That's a bit of a deal breaker. I don't know. I know I just said like one of the last shoes I bought was the Cardinal. I mean the pure platinum sevens, but it worked out fine enough, right? It was kind of like there was a lot of white, but there was some gray in there to kind of help like balance it out. Or maybe my standards were just lower at the time. I think it was mostly that, honestly, because back then, let's see, that would have been 20, was that 17 or 18? Either way, I didn't have a lot of shoes. Well, maybe I did, but compared to now, obviously, like I didn't have what I saw as a lot of shoes. So I was a little more quick on the draw when it came to like random purchases and stuff, right? But nowadays, it's like I'll look at something and I'll kind of debate it more than I used to in the past. And so then it's like, okay, you know what? We're not doing this. Not at all. Because if I try to tell myself that if there's something kind of like that's leaving me on the fence, then I don't want it, right? Because if I wanted it, I would know straight off the top that I wanted it. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. It is what it is. Let's see. Is this the one? But yeah, so what else, you guys, if you have any questions or whatever, you can throw those out there. Otherwise, I'm probably going to start getting things wrapped up here and all that good stuff because, it's cool to do these things, but I've kind of run out of things to like talk about because I've run out of, shoes. So, well, I have other shoes, sure, but as far as shoes to show off right now and all that good stuff, that is kind of the situation that we're in. But yeah, I was going to try to find, that's one. Let's see. How do I need to find out how to like share pictures on here? Let's see. I have no idea how this, nope, that's not it. The StreamYard thing used to be a lot simpler or whatever, but nowadays it's like they've got a lot of stuff going on in here. What's your latest pickup, sneakers? And I literally just opened my latest shoe. Like you saw it, you were right here. Like you talked about the Cardinal Sevens, right? Like you just saw my latest like shoe thing. That's crazy. My latest wrestling thing was what was the last figure that I bought? Mean Mark Callis, right? The Undertaker, like in his earlier form or whatever. So I picked that up last week. So that I think that's like Legends Series 14. It's a Target exclusive. Not to say like it's gonna be hard to find them or whatever. It's just like they're only at Target. But I completely missed the pre-orders for that somehow, so that kind of sucks. But I do like going off and like doing like the whole action figure hunt thing or whatever because that's kind of fun sometimes. Let's see, is this the one? Because that one had China and Edge and there's two Edges and then there's a Road Dog, I think, in that one. something like that. So those figures I still need to get because, I don't have them. And that's just kind of how things work. When you don't have something, you need to get it. Let's see, that is not the one. But the next one, I don't know. I'm always looking for stuff though. Are you gonna buy the Reebok Question Mocha? Uh, I'm just without looking that up. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna say no, only because I have two pairs of questions right now. It is a personal favorite from like my younger days or whatever, before I really knew what shoes were and stuff. But I just don't need a whole lot of them. So for that reason, I would say no. But I don't know. I mean, if it sticks around and like the price goes down far enough, I mean, maybe. But for now, I'm just kind of leaning towards a no on that. Let's see. Ian? Ian said, do you? Oh, okay. I see the next question. I was like, do I what? Do you like Air Force Ones? Because I haven't seen you review an Air Force One. Your answer is in that question. So there's that. Didn't hear what? And cool, yeah, I've seen the Edge. Yeah, like the Edge one, it's cool because like they have the original, not the original, like they have a normal one and a chase one. So I think the chase one has like red pants or something. So we'll see if I can find that one. Let's see. I'm gonna try to play this video real quick. I don't know if it's gonna work or not because I don't know how this stuff actually works. Oh, how do I stop that? There we go. That looks like that's probably gonna play in like some like 3 frames every other second sort of thing, That's terrible. But basically, those are those shoes I was talking about, right? The Ultra Boost. And see, like it looks pretty cool when they're actually glowing and you can see it. The video is like significantly better because it plays in 4K and all that crap. But this one, it'll at least get the point across. How do I stop this? Remove. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Let's see. Another question here. Do you have a go-to favorite? No, I don't. I don't. I have too many shoes to do that. I keep the rotation going, and if you saw the video that I did yesterday, you would have seen. And I'm not saying you have to go back and watch it. Don't take it that way. I don't care. If you saw that though, you would see some old shoes in there that still look like they're like fairly new for the most part, and that's because I try to keep it moving. Like so. For the last, let's see, how long has that been going on? On Instagram, I was doing these like short videos where I was like spend like less than a minute talking about the shoes that I wore for the day, right? And that started in December 8th of 2020, right? Yeah. And for the most part, since then, as far as like just daily wear, like I don't think I've repeated anything. The only time like I might repeat something is when I'm trying to break in something for a performance review. So like right now I'm dealing with a lot of Asics shoes. So there's that piece of it. But as far as like just wearing anything a whole lot, I don't get to, well, I won't say I don't. I would like to, which would, mean I need to have less, or excuse me, I'd have to have fewer shoes to do that. Gotta use the right words there. So, it'd be nice to like wear stuff more often and really break it in and all that crap, but it just doesn't happen because, I keep buying shoes and I wear them. I know a lot of people buy stuff and like they just kind of have it or whatever. But for me, if I can't wear it, like what's the point? Do you think Yeezy slides are actually, I said earlier that I'm wearing only new shoes, like, I'm unde-essing things for April. And so for April, I'm sticking with these, breaking these in. This is as close as it comes to me breaking in a pair of shoes because I don't wear shoes indoors, right? Like in my apartment here. So I have a whole bunch of different versions of slides and stuff. And these right here, do I think they're worth it? And to be short and to the point, no, I don't. But I'll say this, right? They aren't amazing, but if you can get them for retail, it's not terrible. So going out of your way and all the hassle and whatnot, I'm not gonna wait in line on like Yeezy Supply for like a pair of them. Though I actually got my first pair from Yeezy Supply because nobody cared. The resins back in 2019. But nowadays, like, nah. And the only reason I put in to try to get a new pair was I had heard something about the new ones being made slightly differently than the original ones. But if the newer ones had been still the same as the previous ones, I wouldn't have bothered. I honestly wouldn't have. Because I mean, and it's just like plain brown. Like in this particular release, like it's just the one that I was able to get, through how did I get these? I don't know. I'd have to watch the review, and I don't watch my own reviews because that seems weird and slightly pretentious. But yeah, so no, they aren't. There are a lot of other slides that are worth it. Adidas makes a lot of like the cloud foam? Is it cloud foam? The Adidas slides, like they kind of rename some things, right? But the cloud foam or whatever they're calling it now, they're usually like in the $30 range for retail, but they often do like buy one get one free on those, or maybe they just do half off. Either way, they're always on sale. If you just want some slides like for indoor wear or whatever, that is a pretty solid go-to. My personal preference is still the Air Max 90 slide, but at 75, $80 or something, that I don't recommend those to everybody because not everybody's really trying to spend that kind of money on a pair of slides, right? Now, let me put a question out there to the people, right? Because I've been seeing a whole lot of slide type wear in the outside world. And to me, that's just crazy. It's like, what if it rains or something? Then your feet are going to be all wet. And with these like Yeezy slides, you see that how there's like a lip kind of around here, around the whole thing? Like you walk around in these, like if it's raining, basically this is just going to turn into like your own personal puddle, and that sounds disgusting. So there's that. But yeah, like what's up with people wearing like indoor shoes or indoor footwear like outdoors? Like I see a lot of slippers too, like straight up like cotton slippers. Like people just woke up, got out of bed, slipped on the slippers, and just walked out the store and walked out the door and went to the store. And that's like, why? What's up with that? It seems crazy to me. What if like there's something and you need to like get away quickly or whatever? Like there's some natural disaster and you're trying to run from a tornado or something. You can't run in those things. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. I do that sometimes. But either way, what I will say is that I don't get people wearing all these outdoor or indoor things outdoors. And I blame Crocs because I feel like they got that ball rolling. Anyway, so there's a rant that was mostly unnecessary. But anyway, where were we? What were we talking about? Okay, so that was the last question in there. Okay, cool. So whatever happened to that dude that was supposed to tell me his PayPal thing or something? Who was that? Yeah, well, I don't see anything in there, so I wonder if it was like, no. Yeah, so I don't know where that Ian guy is. Let me go and pin that, or Jackson, excuse me. Yeah, so hey, man, like again, I don't see your information there, so get with me in some kind of way, because so we can make that happen. Oh, okay, now he's saying Venmo. Okay, I thought you just, because sometimes like people kind of drop in and out of things. Because I get that like not everybody's just like sitting in a spot where they can just constantly like be at their phone or at their computer. You might be, maybe this is just playing on the TV while you're like cleaning and doing dishes or something. I'm a big fan of like turning on lives and like just kind of being in the background, and then people are all like, oh man, like why aren't people commenting? And I'm like, if I was over there, not over here at this sink, I'd comment right now. Let's see. I'm trying to do this thing. So what is that? JACKDIGIAC. Okay. That's the one. Okay, so make sure I got this right. Put this like just a little bit bigger just to make sure. Yeah, so that looks right. Okay, cool. So there's that. And I will say for this. All right. So there's that. Yeah, sure, we'll pay that. What? I'm gonna pay without confirming because I don't know your phone number. Don't really care. Don't need it, right? So there we go. check your PayPal, your Venmo thing, because you should have some Venmo monies coming in. All right, cool. Yeah, I haven't done I did a giveaway in March, so this will be my April one. I try to do one every month, give back to the people, because like I do get YouTube money for like making videos. Not this one, because I have the ads turned off, right? Like you guys didn't see ads when you clicked on this, right? I like to turn the ads off on the lives. But anyways, I get money for like people watching the stuff, and I have a job, so I feel like I should kind of give this back to some extent to the people that are making this money happen. So that's where I do the giveaways, and that's where the money comes from. Got it. Okay, cool, good. He says he got it. Don't spend it all in one place or something. I don't know. Let's see. Been doing simple things outdoors like walking the dog. You see, wearing easy slides for the last couple of years on a daily basis. Actually, never wear them indoors anymore. Yeah, I don't wear anything indoors that I wear outdoors. That stops at the like when I first come in. I don't want to track all that stuff in here. But yeah, glad you got that, Jackson. Appreciate you paying attention and all that good stuff. Yeah, I think going to the store, getting groceries, or just going for a walk is fine. Yeah, it's just I feel like some people are just out like doing their whole day, like just all of the day. It's like be at like a concert or something. Which I was gonna see Jack White this weekend, but so between sets, between bands, whatever, I usually sit there and just kind of like look on the phone because I go to a lot of stuff by myself because like my friends are often busy. But like his shows they're like yonder shows where like you have to lock your phone in these boxes or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending $100 to just see you and be like possibly bored at some points. It's like, what if the show isn't even that great? Jack White is really good as far as a talented musician, but I don't know. I'm just gonna not do that. Besides, I'll just spend more money at Silverstein or something like that. Did that have any relevance to what was going on here, or did I just? Oh yeah, because we were talking about like where people go. And he says, I can't go out wearing slides. Yeah, see, like I can't do it. Like I get like it's cool, you can slip them on and you can just like run out there or whatever. But I mean, like you can just slip these on too, right? Like I don't like you don't need to tie them because to me, like Ultra Boost and things of the same nature, because the way the shoe is, you can just slip this thing right on, Like once I tie my Ultra Boost or various other shoes like this for the on feet videos and stuff, I generally don't touch these laces ever again because there's no reason to. And I do like that, Let's see. First came across your channel and I saw your review of those Flyknit React Prestos. Been watching ever since. The Flyknit React Prestos, that's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say like a sore area for me, but like I'm a Presto guy, right? I've got a lot of the normal Prestos. I've got a decent amount of like the React Prestos. And when I saw the Flyknit, I was like, okay, this is going to be all right. And I bought the one pair. I was like, yeah, these are cool, And I was like ready to buy like more. I figured they'd make at least like a couple more over the next few months. And then they just stopped. And by the time I really realized they had stopped, I couldn't really find the other pair because they only made two. They made the pair that I have and like a pair that was like kind of gray. And I couldn't find the gray pair anymore. I was like, I mean, I don't need them, but I'd like to have them. Sometimes that's where purchases come in, especially when you know something is quality, at least by your standards. And yeah, it just kind of sucks, that they completely skipped over that. And speaking of React shoes, and like I said, like the React Presto was really nice. I am kind of curious as to why they never made a React Hirachi. It seems like something that would just kind of go hand in hand, right? Since I do have a pair here. Let's see, smooth this thing a little bit. But yeah, since I don't have any like React shoes over here, because none of them really fit the bill for this video, like when I look at the Hirachis, they do look to me like they already have like the React style, right? Because it's it's got just like that same sort of chunky midsole and whatnot going on. But I think they would be a little bit better, possibly, if they put the React on there, right? I don't have any complaints about the Huarache, not a single one, but React is pretty nice. So I'm just kind of curious how these would have been if they made that jump. I mean, they put React on Jordan 1s, they put it on Air Force 1s, put it on, oh man, there's some like Nike like skate shoe that they put it on. I can't remember what it was, a model that just came out like last month. I saw it at the local skate shop once. I can't think of what the name was. It's like a weird name. But yeah, like I would be very curious to see what these were like because I feel like they'd just be better, Though, like I said, nothing against these. I do really like Huaraches. I just sometimes you gotta wonder, like, could this be better? Maybe. Hey, Demetrius, what's going on, man? He will be joining me on this channel in the coming weeks or something like that. Have us a little sneaker battle action. I am still trying to get some people to have like so I can put like a normal one-on-one. Usually the ones where I jump in or whatever. They're all just for entertainment, but it's just kind of time to sit back and talk about things, get to know people, right? See how their mind works as far as like when I say like pull out a shoe that reminds you of high school, and I'll be like, oh, these from like Woodside High, and then he'll pull out something and he'll be like, yeah, this is the Cardinal Seven from Cardinal High School in Jacksonville, Mississippi or something, or Jacksonville, Florida. But yeah, either way, that's kind of what I like to do with mine. Just makes things more entertaining, takes away all the stress, and people can just sit there and just jump in, jump out whenever they want to, as far as the viewers, without having to worry about any high stakes, like Need for Speed. Any Need for Speed fans out there? I used to be. Amy, what is going on? Haven't seen you around in a while, but that's mostly on me because I haven't done one of these in a while. So I do appreciate you stopping in, though. It's always nice to see a familiar face, even if it is just like, a picture of a familiar face. But yeah, so what else is on you guys' mind? Anything you want to throw out there? Anything you want to hear me rant about or answer in a longer form answer than I can do when I'm typing things in the comments? Because that's, like I was saying last night, that is one of the pros to doing this, is that I can sit back and I can just kind of give you my full thoughts on various things rather than just, trying to keep it relatively short. Because, typing these long answers into YouTube, sometimes I'll look back like it's like a whole paragraph. And this dude just asked me about like, what do I think about the 9118 EQT, So yeah, so check these things real quick here. What is this? Oh, okay. But yeah, so if everybody's good, I'm gonna start closing things up and whatnot, and you can throw whatever you have to say down in there, and I'll be sure to get to it before I actually close everything out. But I do appreciate everybody that has stopped in here for however long you stopped in here for. Like, it was just like a few minutes. It was like the whole thing. Whatever you were able to do, I appreciate that because it's more than nothing. And there's like no shortage of other stuff you could be doing right now. You could be getting ready to watch, I assume NXT is about to come on, because I know it's on Tuesdays and I assume it comes on at 8. I don't watch it anymore because it got weird. But yeah, so for you guys to come by, hang out, definitely appreciate it. It means a lot because otherwise I'd be sitting here talking to myself, which is kind of what I usually do, right? Because I do mostly videos and it's generally just me talking to this here Note 10, which I kind of want to replace, but it works so well still. It's been like almost 3 years, but Samsung made a solid piece of machinery with this thing. And check it out, like no case, and it's still like pristine. It looks like there's a scratch on there, but that's just because the way this little phone screen is. There's like a layer over the actual screen, so that is what's scratched, but not the actual screen though. But the phone, like, yeah, no case, just living life on the edge. But anyways, yeah, I appreciate you guys coming by so I don't have to talk to myself in a live setting, because then it's a little different. But it is what it is. Let's see. And now, kill some time and talk about some things, give people time to get their messages typed up. Any specific shoes you're looking forward to? No. I honestly don't keep up with what's coming up. Every so often, I'll see like a random picture of something and, wow, that seems cool, But let's see, it's the Ultra Boost 22. No, that just came out, so the 23 won't be coming around anytime soon. So that probably won't be till the end of the year. Is there an Air Max 2022 coming around? Like, that'd be something to look forward to. And as far as, because like when it comes to like new models, those are the things that I kind of look forward to. And every so often, like running shoes, because I was just walking around for my on feet for the, what is that thing? The Endorphin Pro 2. So I'm looking forward to wearing those. And then if an Endorphin Pro 3 comes along, it's a Saucony issue, then that'd be something to look forward to. But really, no. Like, I just wait to see what 12s are releasing and 350s whenever like confirmed lets me know, or the sneakers thing lets me know. But past that, I don't really keep up with stuff. So I can't really answer that other than saying no, because I don't keep up with it. Let's see. Have you reached the point where you're storing sneakers off site? I have not. Well, I mean, at this point, I probably should, right? So I'm probably at the point where it makes sense to do that. But I'm not at the point of actually doing that, though it's a thing I consider, It's nice to have all the stuff around so I can, like, if I want to go and pull up some random shoe or something, if someone's like, I don't remember there being an Air Max 2013, I'm like, oh no, here's the Air Max 2013. Like, it's blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. It's like people like, I've never seen an Air Max Zero, or I don't remember the first Ultra Boost I bought. I'm like, oh, here's the first Ultra Boost I bought. Right? It's nice to have like some of this random stuff for like references, especially when it comes to videos, right? Because if I'm doing a video that calls for something else, it's nice to be able to go get it and like bring up a comparison. But most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary to have this many shoes in general, right? I mean, really, and to everybody out there, like, speaking from a more realistic standpoint for practicality, how many pairs of shoes do you think a person really needs? I would say 4, maybe 5, right? Because if you have like, and I'm going to get to the other shoes or other question in a second. Maybe you have like something for the gym, right? Maybe you have like some normal casual wear type of shoe. Maybe you got something you can like cut the lawn in, and maybe like a running shoe and like a nice shoe that you wear when you need to like not look like I dress. So yeah, 5 seems about right. And even that can be a stretch because some of those can overlap, right? But yeah, I think that would mostly be enough for like your average person. Though, I mean, I shot like 5 reviews last week, right? Crazy. Was it? Maybe. No. It might have been 6. I don't even know, but minimum 5. Let's see. Great. I appreciate that. I like to sit down and talk to people once in a while, do what I can. I'm looking forward to finding a sneaker that doesn't hurt my feet. Normally, my first thing that I would like to suggest to people is the React Vision, because that is a very good shoe, but the well seems to have dried up on those, unfortunately. So, because I suggest those because they're crazy comfortable. They make for a good gym shoe. So if you want to like get back into, like whether you're going to be walking or something, or just kind of going out doing some light weightlifting and maybe some Pilates or something, the React Vision is a good thing to go with, and it's super cheap, and they were in a lot of colors for a while, and since they weren't selling, that super cheap price went down even further, right? So the React Vision was kind of like my go-to suggestion for like a long while, right? That's why I mention it all the time in Yeezy reviews. But past that, modern times, where is it? Where's that Retropy shoe? Of course, it's at the bottom. So I don't know if you have any like preferences, like one way or the other, as far as like brand loyalty or brand avoidance. But the Retropy E5, this is definitely one that I would suggest as well. The upper itself is a little more flimsy because it's just the way this type of shoe is or whatever. So that's where it like loses some points, at least compared to those React Visions. But if you're just looking for something cheap to like hang out in, that's not going to hurt your feet and be breathable, these right here. And since they don't sell very well, they are on sale constantly. You can find them in a lot of stores too, or at least Finish Line from what I've seen. But even if you want to buy straight from Adidas, Adidas does sales like seemingly every 5 to 6 weeks. So a little bit of patience saves you a little bit of money. And Damien Bell says, peace. And I say that back to you too. There you go. There's that for you. I can do the real deal because I'm on camera. I did a video on the military black 4s. Not sure if I'm going to grab them. Still need zebras and wave runners. Let's see. Where is I'm going to find that video and I'm going to share that so people can see it. Let me get to my little subscriptions section. That's weird. Like, I go to YouTube to like find his video or whatever, and it's all like, here, you want to watch this? Shoes up, sleeves. It's like, no, like, what? Like, why are you suggesting this to me? It's weird to me how YouTube works sometimes. Like, that's the account that I'm logged in with. Like, I know that that's happening. I just don't get it. Let's see. Vlogging with Demetrius. Military black. There we go. Copy link and come back on over here. Hopefully I can paste this in here. Sometimes StreamYard is a little weird. Maybe, yeah, cool, it works. So there you go. I'm going to pin this here. This is the video that Vlogging with Demetrius was just talking about. So let's see. Not sure if I'm going to grab them. Still need zebras and wave runners. I just got some wave runners the other day. The video about that will be coming up relatively soon. Easy 450s are super comfy after you break them in. Maybe these will do the trick. Yeah, but I mean, regardless of how you feel about them, like, that's not one you can just get, and that's my other thing when I suggest things. It's like I can suggest these retro PE 5s because they're everywhere, but the 450, I mean, depending on what your financial situation, I guess, is like, then maybe sure, whatever. But for someone like me, while I can afford to pay resale for things, I don't, because that's crazy to me. And unless you like get them, straight up like from stores, like that's what you're doing. And that straight up from stores thing is not super easy. Have I seen the new Asics Proto Blast? I don't know, honestly, because I do go on the Asics website every so often, just looking for things. I just bought a bunch of Asics shirts recently. I don't know where those are, but because I was unboxing, No, I was reviewing something that I had unboxed some time ago. But those, what is that? It looks like it's a little much for me as far as like, looks like a large amount of shoe. Because I usually stick with like the Gel Light 3 runners type shoes, like the Nimbuses and the Kayanos and the Cumuluses, right? I usually stick with those. I still need to get a pair of the Gel Light 5s because people tell me about them, and I'm like, I want a pair. It's just that, again, finding the right color, because the last time I saw a color that I wanted, they had every size except mine or something like that. So, and there they are, still rubbing this thing in my face. Like, it's still there. Actually, all the other sizes are gone now except for 7. But I have that in a pair of Ultra Boost S and Ls anyway. But I do want a pair of Gel Light 5s though. And she says, thanks, I'll check them out. Yeah, actually, you know what? Last time I saw, Nike.com was still doing the Nike by You option for the React Vision. So you might be able to get a pair that way. And it'll have a personalized touch to it. So that's always cool. Let's see. Thanks. I find it funny that YouTube suggests me my own video. Yeah, like, now I thought it was cool, like, the first time I saw that happen, like, because I had just watched a video. I remember it. It was like October of 2019. Remember, like it was yesterday. And the video ends, and then there's like the whole grid layout of like all the videos you can watch, and then there's me holding up the green VaporMax Flyknit 3, the green and gray pair. I'm like, yeah, because that's how I used to do my thumbnails, because I didn't really have any other approach to doing thumbnails, just like the same thing every time. But yeah, so it was cool, because I'm like, wow, like my video is being suggested to people. That's kind of a cool thing, right? But then it's like, you are suggesting this to other people too, right? Like, not just me, because then it's weird. Let's see, grabbed mine about a week ago for $140. And is that in dollars? Because I know you're not like in America. I don't know what that quite means, but that's cool though. That if that's a good deal, because like the last pair of 450s I bought from, I think it might have been Well Gosh or Foot. No, it was Foot Shop or Foot Patrol, one of those places. Because I remember talking to you about them, and yeah, they were that much more expensive. That was the resin pair. I want to say the white pair. I think I got those just straight from Adidas. Maybe that sounds right. They are very light. Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, what is he talking about? The Asics Proto Blast. Yeah, I mean, Asics does a pretty good job with their shoes, though. So I'll have to look into them more later. Maybe stop by the, what do you call it? The outlet. There is an outlet around here, from what I understand. I've never seen it, but I've heard that it exists. So we'll see. It could be like an urban myth. Let's see. Since you are the Air Max guy, you must be looking forward to the Air Max Plus Grape. Is that like the, what do you call it? Like the retro OG style grape one that they made? Like, because if it is, I have those. Let's see, where would that? Let's see, because right, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking of anyway. Let me go and head over to find something real quick, because like I think if it's what you're talking about, then if what I'm thinking of is what you're talking about, I have those. Because like I'm thinking it's like something that's being re-released, you know. So where is actually? I can find it on here probably faster. Because I remember making like a video about some Air Max Pluses, and like there were like 3 original colorways that were out at some point, and I got all 3. And if you look at the top of the box forms like one big shoe. Where is that video? People still watch that video like regularly. So let me turn off this little nightlight thing. So where's the screen so I can see if this is like those, like the ones on the far that side. Well, is the great that is not focusing like at all. But either way, as you can see, like there's the 3 and they form like the silhouette of an Air Max. There's the blue one, there's the orange one, and then there's a grape sort of color. If that's the one that you're talking about, I have those. Okay, he says no, not that. Okay. Well, if it's a purple Air Max Plus, I kind of have one already, so I might not be looking forward to it only because again, after a certain point, I try to only have so much overlap. Let's see, euros. You have okay, cool. Because I know like the way conversions are, like whatever the price might be or whatever can be kind of crazy. You know, like when you look at the equivalents. Let's see. The guy I got them from paid $280 from End. Yeah. I've those Hirachis I was just talking about, wherever those went. I got those from End. Completely unnecessary purchase. Let's see. The color palette is OG. The shoes are not re-release. Okay. No, not the set. Look at my link things are kind of turned off because like it cuts back on the amount of spam that people leave. So it is what it is. Is purple and green not even close to what you have? Okay. So let's do a quick look onto the internet because again, I do have other grape things. So let's see, because I see this Air Max. Oh, the one where it's like mostly white. Yeah, that's not a shoe that I'm looking forward to. Like that. Yeah, it's not for me. I don't know. It's just because like no, those are different. But those kind of reminded me of those Hirachis that I have. So that kind of covers me for the ones that I actually just showed off. So that kind of covers me for that particular color style. And I have 2 pairs of 5s that are similar, right? 1 or 2. Because I know I have a pair of 5s that has like white and grape. And I'm pretty sure. And I definitely have a pair of 5s that's grape because my first pair of 5s was grape, right? The grape 5s of 2015, somewhere in the middle of the year. Let's see, what is that? now see, that's where I have to scroll through these things, find my little Jordan playlist, wherever that might be. I've not done any Jordan reviews lately. Thought I had. But yeah, now I need to go back and scroll through because like I feel like I have some fives from like not too long ago, but I don't know why I can't find that list of them. Yeah, because it should have been right around here unless I did like accidentally deleted it or something. But yeah, there's even grape in the insole. Okay, yeah, but yeah, that's one that I'll have to not do. The Nike Air Max 2 CB 94s. No opinion. Like, I don't even know where to begin with that. like, I look at that question and I'm like, I don't know. So, once again, we have to look these things up. You guys see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just kind of, I'm a sort of a casual minded person. Like, I just buy the ones that I happen to know about. I don't forecast a lot of stuff, I try to keep an eye on like what I do buy so that way if I do get caught up with something I can have some money for it. But ooh, nah, that is not my style. Is this like a basketball shoe or something? It looks like it's a basketball shoe. I'm not a basketball guy. Like sports and I don't really get along. But they tend to just be like extra bulky to me, and so that's the kind of thing that I just can't really. There's some things that I'll let slide, but and maybe those are comfortable or something. But at the end of the day, like I was saying before, there's something for me to kind of say no to. I'll often say no to it just to dwindle down the incoming packages. You know what I mean? You are so not casual. No, like I think you're not hearing me right. But you got to look at why I have the shoes that I have. Like it's the same thing that I was talking about in like my little that video where I took a bit of a break from YouTube. Someone said you should do like a hiatus or something. I was like, I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I'm just gonna take a little break. And when I came back, that's one of the things I was talking about. Like, there's a reason that I buy like 99% Air Maxes and Ultra Boosts because it's just like a thing that I like. Everything else is just something that I happen to see like usually on a sale page and is comfortable. But I don't follow the shoe world like a lot of. I mean, every shoe that you guys have mentioned, I've had to like look up. Like the Cardinal Sevens, the what is that CB 94 something or other. Like everything. Yeah, I'm not the guy, right? I got this little YouTube channel and it's like a bit of a front in some ways. It kind of puts the wrong message out there. But yeah, I just like to have comfort on my feet and options to go with all the shirts that I buy. Past that, yeah, this doesn't mean as much to me as it means to most people, which is weird because it makes me feel a little weird in some ways when I look at like this channel, right? Because the channel's doing all right for itself. When I try not to compare myself to anybody because you shouldn't, but you can't help but notice sometimes if like you and someone else are doing the same thing, like if your thing is just doing better. And it's like I don't have the passion for this that a lot of people do as far as like the shoe world. So I almost feel bad that I'm doing well. I know that's weird to say, but yeah, it's how I feel. Let's see what else is going on in here. I mean, I get that you mean that as a compliment, but I'm just saying, like from a mental standpoint, I'm an average consumer. I just spend more than your average amount of money on the shoe thing, right? Just buy the few things that I like, and I'll take a chance every so often, though. It happens usually with the Yeezys. You never know what you're gonna get when you open those boxes. Let's see. Oh, there are many Boost shoes out there. You can get great for. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, so I often see in like the sneaker battle communities, like when there's like when someone asks like, let's see like a Jordan from '84 or something, and someone's like, I don't have anything like past like 2020. Like, oh, you got no range. It's like no, like sometimes people just buy the stuff they're into, right? So if for me, like I like Air Maxes, case in point. So I have those in a large variety. I don't have a lot of other certain things, if you want to see like a wide range of like basketball models. No, I have like eight, you know, and like seven of those, six of those probably are like Jordans. And then the other two are like a pair of questions and a pair of phones. So I have like my own little bit of variety, but it's like within what I'm into, which is what I suggest to everybody. Don't just buy stuff because like people think it's cool. Do you? I'm not really a sneakerhead. I just buy what I like. Yeah, see, like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think about this stuff a lot. Like when I put more thought into like what's going on with Finn Balor. Why does he keep losing? I'll talk about that for hours on end before and like no time will go by. This kind of helps because it's like a different setting, but otherwise, like I'm not looking up anything about shoes. I'm not doing all that sort of thing. If I know something's coming out this weekend, I might double check to make sure. But yeah, let's see. Do a crossover show shoes that wrestlers wear. DJ Dells does that, and honestly, like a lot of the stuff I wouldn't know because going back to what I just said, like I see people wear things sometimes. Like I'll see somebody in like what is obviously a Jordan 5, like the Young Bucks last week or the week before on Dynamite. Whenever they wrestled FTR, they wrestled in a pair of Jordan 5s. I like Jordan 5s. I have no idea what shoe that was that they had on though. So I can't really talk about it. I have to do like the research, and I like to be able to just talk off the top of my head without having to look into stuff. I'll make my exceptions like I did with the Endorphin Pro 2, but otherwise, if you and you probably anybody who's seen my reviews knows that I go into them with very little information. Let's see. Don't see any review many or any Air Max 95s. There's a reason for that, and it's an obvious one. Let's see. That's a great idea. Oh, is this about the I'm assuming like when you say that's a great idea, you're talking about like the wrestling shoe thing. But yeah, like it's a thing I notice, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll notice that somebody like the who's it, Private Party, one of the guys from them, maybe both of them used to wrestle in like the Travis Scott fours, and that's one that I know because whenever those were like the relevant thing, they were just everywhere, right? So sometimes you just know stuff because of that. But yeah, I often see stuff and I just know that it's something based on like the person that's wearing them and all that, but I just don't know what it is. So then I'd have to like find out and stuff and you know, probably not going to do the research for it. But it is an interesting thing, And every now and then I do see some wrestlers wearing a lot of like a lot of those different types of shoes. Some people, that's the only reason I really follow. Well, I won't say it's the only reason, but like Rachel Ellering, I I first noticed her because she was wearing a pair of some kind of foam posit, something. Not a standard foam posit, but it's one of those other like spin-off things. Again, I don't know what the model was, but I recognized seeing them. Right? I think it was some sort of penny something, perhaps. I don't know. But either way, I saw those. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I kept seeing her like in these different types of shoes. I'm like, this chick's all right. I believe she's like, I think she is anyway, like married to what's his name? He was Cassius Ono, and he's also Chris Hero. Chris Hero. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's going to work if you ever do it. Yeah, I just can't. It'd be interesting. Don't get me wrong. But maybe if I got like maybe I need to start getting more into like the wrestling world, and I can get like a wrestler to like join me on one of these lives and be like, hey, what about this? Because then they can talk about like the wrestling side and the shoe side if they're like a fan of both. Foam posit, is that are we just joining chats and saying words now? Like, did I miss something? Was this an answer to something? It's not a question because there's no question mark, and even if it was, it still wouldn't be. They were wearing the 3 Lab 5 5, the 3 Lab 5 5s. Okay, see, this guy knows. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if I've heard that name before. Sneaker battle cage match. Well, that's close to a ladder match in the way that it works because I believe in escaping the cage to win, and I've done sneaker battle ladder matches, so I have other ideas that I have to do before I start going back to the well. So I get where you're coming from, and maybe you said that as a joke. Actually, I'm not even clicked on that. Maybe you said that as a joke, but no, seriously, like when I do my sneaker battles, outside of the ones that I'm in, I like to have a theme to them, usually wrestling themed, because that's just a thing that makes sense to me. It keeps me interested because I like wrestling, and it keeps the crowd interested because they're like, wow, this is a different sort of thing, right? Because you got to do something. If you're going to do the same thing that everybody else is doing, sneaker battles, you got to put some kind of twist on it, right? I can sit here and I can, like, when I started bringing in like the wheel thing or whatever, and bringing in like various other like tweaks to it, you got to bring something in to make it a little bit different. Otherwise, why watch, right? I say that though, every shoe review I do is pretty much the same as anything else, I guess. Though I do have on feet clips in there. Not everybody does that because, again, not everybody buys everything to actually wear. Some people buy stuff so they can get other stuff. Totally get it, right? But that is one thing that from what people have said in the past, is what they like about watching stuff because they can see what they look like in action. Let's see. But yeah. Well, I'll probably do like something coming up soon, hopefully. It's just a matter of getting people to want to do it or whatever. Because I can come up with all kinds of ideas and all kinds of questions, but it doesn't matter if I don't have the support from the people. Not like the viewer people. I mean like the competitors, right? Because not everybody's trying to do that for some reason. Usually if you like go up to them like, hey, like send them like a direct message and like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah. But then I feel like I'm kind of like cornering them and they're just like doing it because I'm like getting all in their face about it. I'm not really into that. I like to pressure people. And I'm too laid back for this stuff, for the competition and whatnot. Let's see. Yeah, since you like both wrestling and sneakers, merging it really can't go wrong. It might be a hit. Wrestling world seems to be getting more and more. Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. And I was on a live, it was like early last year. It might have been 2020 at this point. It was over on HTX's channel, right? And it was me, DJ Dells, McFly KOF, and TJ Perkins. And we were just kind of sitting back talking about wrestling and shoes. And there's a bit of overlap in there at some points, right? Because that's just kind of how that works, right? I mean, you can say that about anything. I'm sure you see some of your favorite artists wearing shoes every so often that like you think are cool and you think the person is cool, right? So man, you see like Adam Levine wearing those 3 Lab 5 5s, it's like, wow, I thought he was just a Maroon 5 guy. He apparently likes cool shoes. Then you kind of have something to talk about. But otherwise, like I don't follow anybody else too closely to know what other people are doing outside of like the wrestling world. So I mean, every so often at a show, I saw somebody destroy, rebuild until God shows drugs. Right? There's a side band from Craig Owens of Chiodos fame. Right? Recently, I saw I think it was his guitarist was playing a show like in a pair of 350s. I'm like, hey, check that out. But usually when I see bands play, they're wearing some shoes that look like they were gifted to them after being used for a few years ago. They're just always like so run down. It's like just barely holding on, just barely holding on. It makes me think like, ah, man, I should donate a pair of shoes to this guy or something. Let's see. Maybe at some point get some wrestlers on and expand might be cool. Don't know. When Rob said, I was like, yeah, and that's like I was just saying. I just don't. The way to do that is to be more social in the social medias, right? Because a lot of those people are accessible. They're not all of like the high profile guys, whatever. A lot of like the independent type guys, they're open to talking to people, right? They're like, but I just don't have a social, I don't know, I don't have a social way about myself. So when I'm on there, like I throw up, like if you've ever seen my Instagram things, like I'm pretty good at like making decent little short videos or whatever when I want to. That can be like entertaining, but usually I put up something and like throw a couple words under it, and it's like, all right, I'm done with this. So if I was to start getting on there and being more of like a social person, I could probably build some bridges and establish some rapport, make those things happen. I just don't. I don't know. I'm just so not, I don't want to say like self-centered, but growing up, spending a lot of time as an only child, and then a lot of my adult life was just kind of like to myself, right? Because of moving around a lot and stuff, it's just how things work. So I'm so used to just like, I see people like we're friends or whatever, but I don't really get into what they're into their lives, or especially if they're a stranger. I just like, whatever. Let's see. It says that's what influencers are for. Yeah, are you saying like to like make friends with them so that they can like come on here and like you can be like, hey, look, check it out. It's Trey Miguel from Impact. He's like the X Division champ. He's gonna talk today about these new Vans and these Retropies. I guess, but I don't know if he's like an actual influencer. I think he's just, where's the line? I think he's just a wrestler. But I guess anybody with some amount of like fame or notoriety or just like public following at all, I guess technically could be an influencer. I mean, I like to say that I'm not, right? Because influencer sounds important. And I think that I'm just a normal dude from Iowa just talking about shoes and wrestling. But then I see like the comments from some people and they're all like, hey man, like, you helped me out with this thing. I was looking for information and blah, blah, blah. So like technically I may have influenced a decision, but I don't feel that that necessarily makes me an influencer. So names sell sneakers. I wasn't sure how to respond to that. And I'm still not. But I gotta say something to kind of keep it going so there's not just this dead silence while I gather some thoughts. Now here's the thing, right? When I think about names selling shoes, like yes, that is a very much a fact. If I was super famous for some odd reason, if I was in some like, let's say I was like in the Chili Peppers or whatever, and like everybody knew me, like you know what? I would probably buy like some pair of shoes that no one's buying and like buy like all of them and then post a picture out there of one of them and then just resell all the other ones when everybody's like, oh my God, like the React Vision, I gotta get those. Then you'd see my eBay listing with like every size and like 100 of each one, then I like make all the money. But as far as like a realistic standpoint though goes, like name selling, yeah, that is a thing, but that also kind of ruins some things in some ways, because then it's like you might actually want something for yourself and then you can't get it because everybody's buying it since, Matt Hardy wore it. Now it's like, great. Now Matt Hardy has ruined the 4D forward, Now I got to wait on Adidas to release a whole new slew of colors later in the year. Yeah. Yeah, I think you should keep the same vibe no matter what. And if it's a comfort zone thing, then it might work better. If this derailed too much, ignore. No, like you can't derail. So my lives can't be derailed. They are completely derailable because for one, I take things way off the tracks most of the time myself with random sidebars. But I do this because like I talk about whatever people are talking about while I show off whatever I need to show off. And I did that, right? We can sit here and we can talk about your favorite Insane Clown Posse albums. As long as I work my way through like the 15 shoes or so that I had here, no problem, right? And then we can get back to talking about why Ringmaster is a little bit better than, Carnival Carnage in some ways. But either way, getting back to what we're talking about here, yeah, I'm going to keep the same vibe because it's the one that I've had forever. And it's easy because it's just me. I could get in here and I could like, I've seen people with like the high energy things, and like I'm not into it. So that's why I sit down and I'm like, hey, what's going on, people? Got a pair of shoes here. This came from Vans because, it's got the Vans on the top, right? That's how that works. So in this box, it's a pair of shoes, unless they've gypped me, which does happen, right? You saw the Adidas video a couple years ago, right? So this right here from Chris Johansson, and I just go into the video, right, and just make my little jokes and stuff. And then when it's over, it's over. I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. I don't care if you subscribe or if you comment. Sometimes I do ask for comments because I get curious about random things. But ultimately, the subscribing, the commenting, the liking, if it makes sense to you, then you're going to do it without me telling you or asking you. I'm just sitting here hoping that every video that I make reaches at least a person that takes something from it. And if I can, I like to get like the watch hours of each video to be above the time invested into making said video. But everything after that, like the financial, like whatever payments and stuff, like the subscribers, like I don't, all that stuff is just all that other stuff to me. So I think not having any goals and aspirations is not always the best thing, but sometimes it is because you don't lose sight of what you're actually there to do, right? I think that's fair. We can maybe all agree on that. To me, the influencer moniker is more people who get paid to do or wear things, but I guess the definition can be very broad. See, that's more in line with what I'm saying, because people that are out there like doing that from a different angle, then yeah, they're like the influencer type. And yeah, it also seems like a weird world to live in because at that point, it's like I don't trust those people a lot, right? Because I feel like they're just trying to get me to buy something. When I talk up something, it's because I genuinely like it. And if there's something that, like, if I show off a pair of 12s because I like 12s, but I don't like that color because it just doesn't really look so good in real life, I'll talk about it like that, right? I feel like the influencers are just going to be like, oh man, like this is a new 12 and it's like it may not be in my top 5, but it's definitely top 10. It's like, no, it's not. You don't like it. Just say you don't like it. I followed your channel for a while. You're hitting all the talking points from my perspective. Also a bit older and appreciate your down-to-earth approach. Yeah, see, and that's the thing that I find to be most important about people, right? Channel-wise. So, and I mentioned this in that video, like there's like a picture of a couch because I was rambling about how I took a break from this. And one of the things that I was saying was, I think that it's important that like the people that are watching your videos have some kind of insight into your life. You don't have to give them all the details and tell them like where you work, what street you grew up on, all that stuff. Like not that, but at least to see you as a person, right? So when I sit here and I explain things about like why I have conflicting feelings about like this channel or whatever, or why I don't buy certain things or why I do buy certain things, or like why I don't really ask people to do whatever in videos. Like I like to put all that stuff out there so that way people can kind of piece together the puzzle for themselves and be like, you know what, this Tristan dude, he's all right. I'll sit there. There's a video that hasn't gone up yet. I think it'll go up Thursday about some Azuras. The first like 2 minutes is me like ranting about, not ranting, but kind of rambling on about like my younger years of things and stuff. And maybe somebody will hear that and they're like, huh, that's interesting. Like it'll give them another view into who I am and help them figure out if I'm the kind of person they care to watch. Because there have been people that I started watching like years ago, and then I was thinking, oh, this is cool, back before I really knew how big the YouTube world was. And then over time, I'm like, this person is not a good person, at least the way I look at certain things. So then you're like, okay, you got to kind of put them to the side and just move on, because there's no shortage of videos out there on the internet. There may not be a lot of people talking about these Chris Johansson Vans, but there's going to be a lot of people talking about these Sapphire Sevens. So you don't need to come here, right? Let's see. But thanks, though. I do appreciate the words. I found you through searching for some Air Maxes, and you came up as one of the few who talked about them. Was that the Fierce Purple Air Max 1? That one I bought at like a super discount because I was like, again, I like to peruse the clearance racks, right? Digital and physical. And I bought those, and it's one of my early reviews, so it's probably not good. But man, it got a lot of views. And sometimes I look at those older views and I'm like, man, that's a lot of disappointed people that clicked on this video. But nowadays I do a little bit better. But no, seriously though, like I do a lot of Air Max reviews, and so one of the things that I talk about with like the YouTube algorithms and stuff, because I've done some talks about that in the past, because my channel is a magnet for Air Maxes. I could, if I was to look up my trends and see what search terms have brought people in over the last 30 days, that's probably going to be one that ranks decently. But since I make a lot of them and I tag everything appropriately, yeah, like if you type in Air Max stuff, like I do pop up towards the top in a lot of things, which is good because I don't want to draw people in. Like when I do like a Jordan review, I don't mind that only like 100 people might watch it or something, because that's just probably like a few people that are subscribers and they're just like, yeah, I'll click on this for a little while. But I don't want to like draw in the Jordan crowd, because they're just going to see that I don't do that a lot. And then they're going to be like, oh, I don't actually want to watch this guy. But when it comes to like getting the attention through Air Maxes, that's helpful because I like those. And therefore, like if you are here to see those, you're going to see a decent amount of them. I mean, last month I did what, 5, 6 Air Max reviews, right? Because I had a pair for every week of Air Max week, so that's 5, plus the University Gold Vapor Max 22. Yeah, so yeah, 6. But yeah, that's the thing that I talk about, like, so that's why I don't push everything too much. I figure people will just show up for the things that I hope they show up for. Not the same from your other videos. Oh, don't know what you're referring to there, but okay. Your channel and MK the Truth, also an older, more mature review, are my 2 favorites for you. I've never heard of that person. Like I said, I live under a rock when it comes to a lot of the shoe things. But I will say, like, because I don't watch a lot of YouTube in general, right? I have friends that make shoe videos and stuff, so I watch theirs. And I also watch Jim Cornette because he's entertaining. Even though he like talks down on a lot of the things I like, he does it with, some stuff to base his thoughts on. Though sometimes, every so often, he's just like completely wrong because he didn't have all the information or something. But yeah, and every so often I'll watch my tech podcasts, like on the Twit network, This Week in Tech and stuff. I think it's what it used to be called. But either way, I watch that network fairly often because I am a bit of a nerd in some sort of ways, because that stuff just, I don't know. People start talking about that and then it just kind of catches my attention. Let's see. I bought 20 different colorways of Air Max Pluses. That is not true. I don't even have 20 pairs of Air Max Pluses. I say that as I look over to the side to count. Oh, actually, like things are a little jumbled up right now because I've been doing a lot of this where like I keep taking boxes and putting boxes back. But Air Max Plus, how many? I probably have like 8. Though I could see how, it's like a gateway drug in some ways, where like you buy the first one and then it's like, man, these are cool. And then you see that they're also cheap and then it's going to make you buy more. Yeah. I have missed out on a couple that I did want though. But at least you liked them. Because like I said last night, when people say that they bought something because of me, my initial thought is like, did you like it? Because like if you didn't, then I feel bad, Because I try not to sell things like on people. I just try to talk about some pros and some cons and leave it somewhere in the middle for them to make their own decision for the most part. MK the Truth reviews AU copies. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, and I know that's the thing that people are doing because it's a thing that's growing in popularity. It's not for me, right? Because I figure like if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to get the real thing. And if I can't get the real thing, screw it. There'll be something next month that I probably want. And you can answer this for yourself. But like I'll often think like, how many things have I bought and then I like them, but I kind of forget about them. And then like 2 months later, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't worn those bright mango Harachis or something, you know? So when I miss out on something, it doesn't matter because, like I said, I'll get something new at some other point. And at this point, like I'm able to get a lot of stuff, right? So it'd be very much selfish to sit here and complain about it. So I just accept it, move on, and make sure that when I'm buying stuff, my money goes to the people that it's supposed to go to. Let's see. I do. So do you. What's. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's the thing about doing these like lives. Sometimes I got to scroll back for the actual meat behind these things, these comments and such. Is that thing still good? Let me click on this. Make sure this live thing is still going. Okay, let's see. Seen some of his vids. What I find annoying about him is calling you dumb for buying retail shoes, not replicas when reading reps. See, now that is a thing that I can't get behind. Don't get me wrong. Like I've made some comments about some people in some videos and on the Instagram or whatever, but they usually draw that attention for themselves, you know, by making some outlandish comment or something to that effect. But what I'm talking about is the whole thing of like, you got to respect that people are going to buy what they're going to buy, right? Because it's their money, right? If it was like, even if it was me giving like some kid, like, if I had a kid, like giving them allowance, like, I can't really be mad about what they spend the money on because it's kind of theirs. If they saved and wasted, like, well, all right. But for me, like, you know, where my money goes is where I want it to go, right? And where this guy's money goes is where he wants it to go. So you're not dumb for buying the things that you see a reason to buy. Now, as far as the main part of that I don't like is this whole, because I'm assuming there's probably like affiliate links and whatnot, you know, that he's going through and trying to like get his own revenue stream that way. That type of thing I don't like. So, and again, I'm not gonna like, you know, drag anybody into this or whatever because it's not that serious. But like with the financial, like the the donation thing, what is that option called? Like, what is it? Where you can like leave money for people? Uh, the super chats, like where you click on that and it's like you can give them money, like in the YouTube thing. Like sometimes people do that, and that's cool, right? But I don't draw attention to it or ask for donations for anything because I'm here because I have free time and I'm just trying to entertain myself to some extent and the dozen or so people that pass through, right? So I don't need your money or whatever. If something's going on and let's say it's alive and you want to donate to like the winners of a sneaker battle or something, that's fantastic, right? That's cool. But past that, like, you know, it's the option is there in case people want to use it. I'm just not going to push it on people because I don't feel that's right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel that that's right from that perspective either. Like sending people trying to get them to buy anything. Like, don't sell people stuff. You know, like just make it known where they can get the thing, and if they want it, they'll get it, right? Let's see, and Air Max. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind having some more 97s. Kind of sleazy. Yeah, man. That's a response that I give in the comments a lot. But yeah. What's going on? EW1. What up, man? We were talking about some wrestling and some shoes and stuff, you know. You missed some good conversation, you know. It's pretty entertaining here on this fine Tuesday night. I was only expecting to be on here for probably like 45 minutes or something, but people keep saying things, so I keep saying stuff back, you know. Otherwise, it's rude. Yeah, it's more to combat shoe flippers, resellers. If you can buy the real thing at MSRP or below, that's a-okay. I mean, I know everybody's got their whole thing about it. Like, the market exists because the demographic exists, right? And it's going to be that way forever until Jordan brand and Nike and Adidas and Yeezy, whatever, until they start putting every shoe release in the millions or something. Yeah, that's just what's going to happen. And are they going to do that? Probably not. I kind of think they should because there's definitely a market for a lot of this stuff and it's going to sell, right? And even if it takes a while for, say, like a Jordan 7 to sell out, and it has to drop down to like $120 before it does, it probably costs like 10 cents to make them, right? So they're still making a lot of money. So I say, why not just like up the ante on like the release numbers? But whatever. Having so many sneakers, is it hard for you to find any pairs you looking for? Do you have some in clear cases or everything original boxes? The only things that are I have these shelves that I got from Amazon like a while ago. I think each one fits like, is it 20? Because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4. Yeah, 20. And they're stackable, which is cool. But I have some stuff on those, but what's on those is like, I need to kind of switch things in and out. But when I did it, I only had so many shoes, so it just made sense. But what's mostly on those is like my utility type shoes, for like rain times and stuff like that. And then there's some that are just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a nostalgia thing, but like on the other shelf, I have like some Air Max 360s and like some older Air Maxes, so it's kind of just when I see those, as I'm like walking by them, it's like kind of reminds me of like the stuff that I got into when I started buying shoes. So, it's like 15 pairs over there, something like that, where I was just like, yeah, those are cool. And it's where I sit shoes that are like a little rainy or whatever, because like I sit them on that top shelf, so that way they can like kind of dry off before I put them wherever they need to be. But as far as everything else, though, everything else is in the original boxes because I'm an original box kind of guy. It's not the cleanest look, and it's not as easy to get to everything quickly, but it's just a personal preference. That, and I don't know how many shoes I have, but if I wanted to buy enough clear boxes to put them all in clear boxes, it's like $60 for like 6, right? So I need to spend a lot of money, and I'm not spending a bunch of money on boxes because then I'm going to have these boxes. What am I going to do with these boxes, right? Because if you sell a shoe, I feel like people probably want the original box. I would. So yeah, everything's in original boxes minus a handful of like Ultra Boosts. What's that? Some 1s through 3 or 4, and some early Vapor Max models. Because even though I don't really consider anything like just like what I run out of the door in, those are ones that like out of those 20, every so often it's like, what, let me just put these on since I'm just walking across the street. But even if I'm just walking across the street, there's still like this 10-minute debate of me looking at it's like, well, I haven't worn these yellow ones in a while. It's like no one's gonna see me between here and whatever this Shell station, whatever it is, no one's gonna see that. It doesn't matter. Let's see. When we do the battles, best believe I'm cutting the most over the top promo on IG. I'm talking CM Punk pipe bomb type of promo, and I'm walking away with the title. You see this trash talk that's happening right here, right now? I tell you what, sometimes people come on here onto the internet and they get a little too big for their britches. And I get it, right? You got to talk a big game. But the thing is, if you're going to talk a big game, you got to follow up with an even bigger game, right? And it can't be a losing one. So if you're talking up a big losing game, that is going to make you look so bad. So make sure that you're ready to back up whatever it is that you say you're going to do, because when you don't, I'm telling you right now, when you don't, it's going to look bad and you're not going to be invited back. There's my promo. All right. So, Super. Yeah, see, he knows the thing I'm talking about. I'm way behind on the comments here. I don't think it's combating anything. It's just piss people off where they can't hit for retail. Yeah, see, again, like everybody has their own take on it. Like my thing is just like, they're shoes. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that serious to have like a heated debate. And it's also, to me, not that serious to like worry about it if you don't get them. It's not like, oh man, like they ran out of water, like that's a problem, if you don't have water, right? But if you don't have the new Jordan 2 because, it's bots, it's like, hey man, it is what it is. Any concerts planned in the near future? Silverstein, I'm seeing them soon. Huge fan of them. It's like a post-hardcore band. So if you're into like Thursday, Funeral for a Friend, Emery to some extent, that type of thing. I'm seeing that pretty soon. I was going to see Jack White, but they're doing that yonder phone thing where you got to lock your phone in these boxes or whatever. And I'm not trying to, I don't mind that when I go to see like Dave Chappelle or something, because then I'm like, I know I'm going to be engaged in what's happening. You know, Jack White, I respect what the dude does, but no. And then Victor Wooten is coming around in this moment. I might see Poppy. She did a song on the on one of the NXT takeovers a while ago, and that wasn't bad. The Struts, that's coming up. The War on Drugs, haven't seen them in forever. Garbage is also coming around, so looking forward to that. I don't know why I have Bare Naked Ladies on the calendar. I'm not going to that. I think they're playing with. I think that's the concert. Maybe I will, because I think that's the concert with Train and Jewel. So I might actually see that. Who else? Rise Against is coming around with Senses Fail. Hailstorm is going to be soon after that. Pepper, I think the singer is like the brother of Nick from 311. So there's that happening. And at some point, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, where I bought some crazy expensive tickets to, and later that month, Puddle of Mud. So that's like the next like 3 to 4 months of shows or whatever that I'll be going to. So I'm looking forward to pretty much all of them. And of course, sprinkled in the mix will be local shows, from like France and whatnot, and whatever else happens to catch my attention. Let's see. I know that's a fairly long answer, but it's one that I had a lot of stuff to say about. If the money isn't going to shoe flippers, that's a win in my book. Yeah, I mean, it's in the direction of a win. Because it's still like, there's still a lot of places like where the money can go. And then you got to, I don't know, then you have to worry about like the people that buy something that's fake and then try to push it off on somebody that, that it's real and it's not, right? And then there's like some moral stuff going on. So, he's laughing at the promo. Yeah, every so often I bust one of those out. So this could be good. Maybe we'll need to extend this just to give us some time and get a couple back and forths in on there. Be entertaining. You gotta kind of promote it amongst yourselves sometime. Should take photos of the pairs and print and stick. I thought about that, but. So a lot of like Adidas used to be really good about putting pictures of the shoes on the boxes, but not so much, though not so much anymore. But I am pretty good about it, like, because I still have to read things, but usually once I like catch the first like word or two from the colors, I know what I'm looking at. And since everything is super organized, at least for me, it's like, okay, well, there's Air Max 1s, then there's Air Max 90s, then there's Air Max 97s, then there's Air Max Pluses, So I kind of know what's where. But yeah, there's definitely a reason to do the photo thing, right? I'm not saying there isn't. I just haven't, because partly I'm lazy and partly I've been getting by pretty good with my own system. So like whatever it is I need to pull out, like as far as shoes go, I can pretty much get right to it. Minus a couple of the 90s that came out in 2020, because they all say like white and particle gray on there. They don't mention any of the green. They don't mention any of the orange. Just white and gray, which is like cheap to me. Though, if you know the style codes, if you're familiar with like how to break those down, like the end part, that helps too. Let's see. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Oh, that gauntlet is like deep in the ground. It is ready to rock, or whatever makes sense to say about a gauntlet. Also did a gauntlet match once for a sneaker battle. That was, I watched that because that was crazy. There were some good times in that too, some good laughs. Sure, man, I'm behind you. Your money, do whatever you want with it. Yeah, at the end of the day, exactly. Yeah, Garbage was actually here last year with Alanis Morissette. Well, okay, Alanis Morissette was here with Garbage. And Liz Phair was supposed to be there, but the original tour ended up getting postponed. And so when the postponed tour came around, she couldn't make it because she had to do her own tour for her album. It's like Soberville or something. I forget what the name of her album was, Liz Phair's, but it was really good if you like that kind of music anyway. But yeah, so love me some Shirley Manson. Man, she destroyed Cherry Lips. Like, I wish I had like if you find if anybody recorded it, look for Cherry Lips in Virginia Beach, right? Because that's where it was when I went to the show. But like, and she knew she was messing up the song 'cause she was like jumping ahead and like saying parts from like later and then like forgetting where she was. It was a bit of a train wreck, but like she was having a good time, like working her way through it. So it was entertaining. It wasn't like bad. It was just, man, this is not going how you want it to go, is it? Let's see. Sounds great. Enjoy, man. And this moment takes me back. Yeah, I saw the first time I saw In This Moment what's that thing like? Was it the Rob Zombie thing or the Corn thing? Might have been Avenged Sevenfold. Because like it was either Family Values or Mayhem. No, Mayhem. It was Mayhem. Mayhem was Rob Zombie, right? Yeah, it was the Mayhem Festival 2011 or 12. I was like, man, this woman, she's something. She's something. Like, however you want to take that. And then I saw her later with Hailstorm in Nottingham. It's in the UK for those that don't know. But yeah, I saw them there at Rock City. Same place I saw, who else did I see there? Dropkick Murphys, saw them there once too. I saw a festival there once where it's like they had different buildings and you just go to the different buildings and you see different bands, so that was cool. But yeah, In This Moment, like they're pretty solid. I don't listen to them regularly, but they're one of those bands that I listen to when I see them. Kind of like Fall Out Boy. I don't really listen to Fall Out Boy, but in a live setting, sure. Let's see. Those plastic cases on Walmart ain't. My mom has some plastic cases. Like now that I think about this, 'cause last time I was down there, she's like, "Oh, let me show you the plastic boxes I bought for my shoes." Because apparently she's got like a decent shoe collection now, as far as like the number. Because I buy her stuff and I kind of keep a loose idea of it. But when I was down there, I was like, "There's a fair amount going on in here," and it's not like anything that I say, you would be bragging about, but it's a pretty nice variety. It's got a handful like some of the earlier Ultra Boosts and certain NMDs that weren't like easy to come by at some points and stuff, Got a handful of Jordans in there, of course, different Air Max models, some winter models, different types of Vapor Maxes and stuff. Couple Gel Light 3s somewhere in the mix, some trail shoes because I'm a trail shoe guy and I make my parents do that when they're up here, so I buy them trail shoes too. But yeah, so she was like, "Hey, check out these boxes," and I'm like, "Man, this is all right, Mom. You're doing all right for yourself." So yeah, I'm sure a plastic box is a plastic box for the most part, right? I mean, obviously you can check the sturdiness for yourself, but the container store ones are the ones I was talking about, and those obviously are going to be the most expensive ones, I think. But are they that much better? I don't know. Do you ever two pairs of the same shoe and leave one dead stock? No, I do not. I have, when I've bought two pairs of something, it's so that I can have one at my mom's house and one here. That's really it. There is a pair of shoes that I picked up recently, a pair of Wave Runners, and I'm hoping that maybe I can make a trade to like one of the local shoe places, right? To get some Inertia 700s. Because here's my thing, right? I'm not a resale guy, so paying that price, it's just not going to happen. But if I find something of the same style that goes for about the same price as something else, I feel like maybe I can make a trade, right? So it would be like I'm not going to trade like a certain Yeezy for a certain Jordan 1 because the price difference doesn't make sense. I still see it as 160 versus 220, 225, whatever. So looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, these both cost retail of 300. So if I can make an even trade, that's cool. Like I don't care if like I lose out on it because like maybe my shoe is worth a little bit more. I just don't want to pay more than 300 for something if it says 300 on the box. So yeah, I don't really do that. Let's see, Cherry Lips, Virginia Beach. Yeah, because like she told this whole story going into it about like the background of the song, and then Yeah, that just went off the rails, like one of my lives. Let's see. I wish I knew what he was talking about. Laughing at. Show us your shoes on the feet you have on right now. I did. Remember the Yeezy slides? Like maybe you weren't here for that. Maybe you weren't here for that. Somebody mentioned slides earlier, so yeah. Yeah, I keep my hats and sneakers in those cases. Okay, that's not bad. Like I don't, yeah, I don't really, because I just don't. I've never seen a reason to do. If I had started off with buying those or whatever, maybe I'd have a different outlook. But at this point, like looking back and like playing catch up with boxes and however many I need, nah. And I don't wear hats, so I wear the occasional beanie if it's like raining or snowing or something though. Let's see. I have a few LED boxes and want to grab more, but it's only for certain shoes and brighten up my background. Yeah, I'm one of those people that it's I don't like having shoes in the background for some reason. It's like and that's one of those like conscious efforts to like do something different, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter what's going on in the background, honestly, because the foreground is where you really like make your money, right? So if I suck, it doesn't matter what's going on back there. So people just look at Hangman Adam Page and the villain Marty Skrull and a couple pictures of me and Cam and some Sneaker Hearts guys, Juke, and he's the guy that drew this picture here too. That's my background. And actually, like, when you see me doing my little promos and stuff for things or like my little minute videos, usually I have to move shoes out of the way. So, like, because if I, like, right now, like where my Bret Hart picture is and where my CM Punk picture is, there's like shoes next to them. And because like the screen is however wide it is, I move shoes out of the way so that they don't show up. Because I don't know. I don't like to distract people, I guess, is part of it too. Because when I see people with like stuff in the background, like a lot of shoes or whatever, I'm looking at them and I'm like, huh, you bought those? Those are terrible. Why did you buy those? It's the worst thing I've ever seen. Next thing you know, like 6 minutes of a 7-minute video have gone by, and I'm like, I completely missed everything this dude was saying. Huh. Let's see. I think inertias are more expensive now. Typical. I should have bought them in 2019 when they were like 280, but whatever. From what it seems like, and again, like I don't really care a whole lot. It's just like I'll keep these on the side. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at some point, maybe they'll just bring them back. I mean, they brought back the zebras. They brought back what's that other thing? The blue tint, right? Neither of which did I go for because I had them already. But, it could happen, right? I think that was like, wasn't that like the tagline in like McDonald's commercials or something? Like in the early 90s or late 80s? Pretty much double at this point. Wonder what's going on with that. But, whatever. I'll just have to wait for the future and see what happens. But worst comes to worst, I'll just get rid of them because I'm not a huge fan of the Wave Runner personally. So it's not a need to have two pair, right? Like with my semi-frozen yellows or something. So, that's a problem for future Tristan. He'll deal with that. Let's see. Maybe the Faded Azure, kind of similar and darker. What is the Faded Azure? To the internet. Let's go see what the Faded Azure is. Because I do not know. Okay, apparently it's a 700. Okay. I kind of remember that, but it's a little, and I say this with a grain of salt or something. The Yeezys, the way they look, you never really know for sure, but this one looks like it's a little deep on the teal side or something. I did like a recent 700. It was kind of like the Wave Runner. I think it was called like the Ember or Amber? Ember? I don't know. It was like a fall version of the Wave Runner or something, like from their fall colorways, from their fall catalog. Was it Ember? Ember sounds right. Yeah, the Ember 700. Kind of liked that. For some reason. Okay, so is it Amber? Whatever. But yeah, I liked those. But the thing The reason I didn't get the Ember 700 is because remember when I was saying I don't pay a lot of attention to releases? Yeah, I found out about those when people were like doing reviews of them. Like, and I'm not talking early reviews. I'm talking like they bought it from Adidas or Yeezy Supply or whatever. It shipped to their home. They set aside some time eventually and made the review. And then I found out about them. I was like, oh, well, so much for that. But it would have been nice, you know. But things happen and then you just move on. Let's see. They're bringing back the 700 V2 Vanta, my favorite shoe of all time. I have no idea. See, like, I'm usually pretty good with like the 350s, but that's because like I buy a lot of those. See, the Vanta, like, I don't know. Sometimes things look better in person, but it looks like the Black Static, or maybe not the Black Static. What's that other one that wasn't the Black Static, but it was like similar? The Cinder. It looks like the Cinder to me, which, if I recall correctly, wasn't like the Cinder was more black than the Black Static. Neither one was actually black though, but I think the Cinder was actually closer. But then when I looked at like my original, those Yeezys that came out like last month, they were black and they had like that whitish, off-whitish sort of strip. That was my first pair of 350s, so that's why I didn't go for those because I already have them. But that was black, you know. And then those black pair that came out with like the red Supply 350 on the side, those were black. But yeah, that Black Static, it was like dark gray, borderline weird purple. I do like the static or the reflective on the laces. That's cool, but overall, I think I still prefer the normal static. You know. So it says Ember, or Inflame Ember. Yeah. And then he says, ha ha ha. So cool. And that is all the comments. So is it really 9 o'clock? Huh. All right. So since it's been like an hour, 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours. I mean, obviously I didn't have anything else to do. I was going to edit a video tonight, I think. Was I? I feel like I was. That'll have to happen tomorrow. Oh yeah, those wrestling ones. I was going to edit one of those tonight, but they take no work at all, so I'll do that tomorrow. But for now, again, thanks to everybody that came by. I definitely appreciate it and all that good stuff. It's weird how time can fly by, you know, when I could just sit here and talk for 2.5 hours about kind of nothing, but hopefully you walk away with something out of it. Otherwise, it's like a waste of your time. But hey, it is what it is. Usually I have this water here so I can drink it if my throat gets all dry, but surprisingly now it is. The rest of this time is fine. But anyways, let's read this last one. It's super simple, yeah, but it works. The midsole is actually super dark purple and the gray accent's so cool. Anyway, bottom line is I love that. And that's all that really matters, you know? Like if you can get the thing that you want for the price you're willing to pay, based for, you know, whatever division of real or fake makes sense to you, good. You did it. You won. All right. And he says, cheers, enjoy your night. He says, thanks for the hey, no problem, no problem. And then thanks for the conversation. No problem, as I just said. So, to everybody out there, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I've got some different time zone folks, some different country folks in there, so I'm not sure where everybody's coming from right now. But regardless of where you came from, I'm glad you came. I really am. Because, like I said before, you got a lot of other stuff you could be doing, maybe some stuff you should be doing, you know? But you're choosing to do this instead, and I definitely appreciate it. So thank you a whole heck of a lot. I'll be seeing a lot of you later, hopefully. I got some videos that'll be coming up over the next, I think I've recorded everything minus the sevens because they just came in. But over the next, like, probably a week and a half, I'll probably try to stagger things a little bit more this time. You'll see a bunch of videos. So keep an eye out for those. Comment on them if you want to, and I'll respond to you. If you don't, I'll just assume you didn't care to watch them, which is fine. Don't take it the wrong way. Later, people.